agricultural fishery sector to operate normally during MCO. 179 new COVID-19 cases, 90 more discharged from hospitals. Good evening, thanks for joining us. You're watching News on 2. I'm Jessica Lee. The number of offenders defying the Movement Control Order, or MCO, is decreasing. Senior Minister of Security, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said there was an 11% decrease in arrests on Saturday compared to Friday.
PDRM telah menahan sebanyak seramai 368 individu di sekatan jalan raya dan rondaan kerana individu tersebut melanggar arahan dan juga melanggar pematuhan PKP. Jelas daripada jumlah tangkapan semalam iaitu 368 menunjukkan hari ini semalam juga terdapat pengurangan dari segi jumlah mereka yang ditangkap berbanding dengan hari sebelumnya iaitu 413 tangkapan. Dan ini menunjukkan penurunan jumlah penangkapan kepada 11%.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said that the downward trend of arrests shows that Malaysians are obeying the MCO. He added that the army was also assisting the police by deploying drones to monitor movements in certain areas like markets. However, the senior minister said that there were some arrested who were charged under the penal code, which brought a partial penalty because they also prevented public officials from carrying out their duties. He also reminded Malaysians to give full cooperation to authorities during the MCO. Meanwhile, all agricultural and fisheries product supply chains, including operations and logistics, are allowed to operate as usual under the MCO. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri clarified that those working in these sectors are allowed to work as usual and there will be no hindrance to their operations. Elaborating further on the matter, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said there has been some confusion under the MCO and he has explained several times before that the agricultural sector can operate as usual.
Bukan setakat yang terlibat dari segi pengeluaran, tetapi keseluruhan rantaian pertanian yang berkaitan dengan pertanian dibenarkan. Bermakna kenderaan pengangkutan produk pertanian dibebaskan seperti biasa, tidak ada sekatan dan sebagainya.
Now, on another note, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said both the armed forces and the police will be deployed to the Selayang wholesale market as well as the Selayang wet market to ensure that the public comply with social distancing. Now, this comes after numerous reports that people were still crowding both locations without following the 1 meter social distancing rule.
Mesyuarat pagi ini supaya kita letakkan pihak polis dan pihak tentera untuk memastikan pematuhan di pasar Borong Selayang dan juga Pasar Basah Selayang.
The senior minister said a similar approach was taken at the Air Hitam market in Pulau Pinang, where previously crowds of people thronged the morning market without adhering to social distancing. However, he was informed by the police that following an enhanced movement control order issued on the market, compliance with social distancing started to rise. He added that the armed forces and the police will also ensure that the Selayang market will follow the instructions and the standard operating procedures issued by the government. Meanwhile, several prominent five-star hotels throughout the country have been designated as quarantine stations for COVID-19 after the federal government gazetted a further 63 sites today. Among the prominent five-star lodging facilities gazetted are the Palace of the Golden Horses in Sri Kembangan, Tanjung Ru Resort in Langkawi, Grand Millennium Kuala Lumpur, Hilton Kuala Lumpur and Dawson Grand Subang in Subang Jaya. The latest announcement brings the total of gazetted quarantine stations for COVID-19 in Malaysia to 472, following an earlier gazette made by the government last month. Malaysia is already under an expanded movement control order put in place until 14th of April to try and contain the COVID-19 outbreak in the country. On 2nd of April, Senior Minister of Security, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, reiterated that the compulsory 14-day quarantine order for all Malaysians and visitors returning from overseas would be enforced beginning 3rd of April. This meant that all returning Malaysians or foreign visitors who enter the country will be subjected to the quarantine procedure at all entry points before being transported to the quarantine centres. Another 179 new COVID-19 cases have been reported, bringing the total to 3,662 cases as of today. Now, in his daily COVID-19 press conference, Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah also said that 90 patients have recovered, bringing the total to 1,005 cases. Now, he also reported 4 deaths for a total of 61 fatalities from the disease.
Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia ingin memaklumkan bahawa terdapat 90 kes yang telah pulih dan dibenarkan discharge pada hari ini. Ini menjadikan jumlah kumulatif kes yang telah pulih sepenuhnya dari jangkitan COVID-19 dan telah discharge daripada ward adalah sebanyak 1,005 kes, iaitu bersamaan dengan 27.45% daripada jumlah keseluruhan kes. Duka cita dimaklumkan bahawa terdapat pertambahan 4 kes kematian berkaitan dengan COVID-19. Justru jumlah kumulatif kes kematian COVID-19 di Malaysia adalah sebanyak 61 kes, iaitu bersamaan dengan 1.67% daripada jumlah keseluruhan kes.
Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham added that a total of 99 cases were being treated in the intensive care units or ICU, and 48 of those cases needed ventilators. He said that from the new cases, 46 were linked to the public gathering in Street Petaling. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham also stressed the need for patients to be honest about their possible exposure to COVID-19, saying that withholding such information could cause new infection clusters to emerge. Johor Federal Agricultural Marketing Authority, or FAMA, is planning to invest more in its Agro Bazaar online service due to popular demand since the Movement Control Order, or MCO, started. Now, State Agriculture, Agrobase and Rural Development Committee Chairman Datuk Samsul Bari Jamali said the platforms serve as a medium for members of the public to buy groceries without the need of going out of their homes. When met by reporters after visiting Pasar Tani Datin Halimah in Johor Bahru today, Datuk Samsul Bari said the application was introduced by the Agriculture and Agrobase Industry Ministry back in 2014 to help bridge supply and demand from farmers to consumers. He added that FAMA has recently changed the contents sold to fresh fruits, veggies, seafood, poultry and meat in order to cope with the current needs of the people. He said that the app would also ensure that the source of income for farmers would not be cut off during the MCO.
Dalam waktu Ramadan ini mudah-mudahan kita tidak sampai ke situ. Online juga menjadi salah satu daripada sumber pembelian dan juga pemasaran pada para peniaga dan orang ramai untuk membeli belah. Dan kita harap urusan secara online ini pada peniaga-peniaga kita membuka minda mereka dan meluaskan rangkaian pemasaran mereka melalui online.
According to Datuk Samsul Bari, in Johor alone, 1,410 farmers are registered under the program, where each produce is sold online at an affordable price and is guaranteed fresh. He also informed that Pharma would then deliver each online order to the customers located within 30 kilometres from the Pasar Tani, Datin Halimah and Pharma Centre at Tampoi that covers the area from Gelang Patah to Pasir Gudang. The Johor Education Department has embarked on several initiatives, including e-learning, to ensure students in the state can continue with their education during enforcement of the Movement Control Order MCO. Now, State Health and Environment Committee Chairman R. Vidyanandan said the e-learning initiatives include learning using broadcasting mediums such as Johor FM Radio, which is conducted daily from 12:30 p.m. in collaboration with RTM, and learning through TV education, which is run by the Ministry of Education.
Melibatkan pelbagai pelantar seperti Google Classroom dan medium lain termasuk media sosial seperti WhatsApp, Telegram, YouTube, Zoom dan lain-lain.
Vidyanandan added that MCO, enforced since 18th of March and had been extended until 14th of April, resulted in the closure of 1,187 primary and secondary schools in Johor and involved 580,000 students and 59,000 teachers and support staff. The closure also affected 71 private schools and 1,473 private childcare centres involving 90,000 students, teachers and staff. Now, the first phase of payments of the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, or BPN, one-off cash assistance for 8.3 million households and unmarried individuals, will be undertaken in stages from tomorrow onwards. In a statement issued yesterday, Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said the first phase encompassed payments totaling 5.63 billion ringgit, while the total allocation for the BPN assistance stands at 9.24 billion ringgit. The assistance, which benefits individuals from the B40 and M40 groups respectively, is among the initiatives of the Prihatin Rakyat Economic Stimulus Package, or Prihatin, unveiled by the government recently to help Malaysians from all walks of life to deal with the negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Advising the public to be on the alert for scammers preying on BNP beneficiaries, the minister said beneficiaries should not share their personal information with strangers and should refer to official sources for guidance. Applications for BPN assistance and appeals are to be made from the 1st to the 30th of April. BPN recipients who do not possess bank accounts will receive their payments in person when the government's movement control order to contain COVID-19 is lifted. The minister also clarified that BPN recipients in the interiors of Sabah and Sarawak will receive the payments during the same time period when the payments are issued to recipients in Peninsular Malaysia. Meanwhile, Bank Simpanan Nasional, or BSN, the bank which has been entrusted to manage the BPN payouts, has said that the first phase of the BPN payments will be credited to accounts starting from tomorrow to Wednesday, 15th of April. In a statement today, BSN said recipients may withdraw the sum from automated teller machines, or ATMs, under the MEPS network nationwide, adding that the government has exempted the RM1 cash withdrawal charge at all ATMs throughout the movement control order. The bank advised recipients to ensure social distancing of at least 1 meter when performing banking transactions at any MEPS ATMs and BSN branch counters, and to visit the BSN counters only if it's necessary. It added that several BSN branches are not operating at the moment following the COVID-19 outbreak. However, the BSN ATMs are operating as usual. BSN said for recipients with unsuccessful BPN credit status and no records can check the status of their application at www.hasil.gov.my or bpn.hasil.gov.my. The Malaysian Football League, or MFL, have prepared several alternatives to continue the 2020 season domestic football calendar if the Movement Control Order, or MCO, until the 14th of April is extended to a later date. Now, MFL's Chief Executive Officer, Dato' Abdul Ghani Hassan, explained that the decision on whether to continue the Malaysian football calendar also depends on the government's orders regarding the scheduled end of the MCO, as well as advice from the Malaysian Ministry of Health, or MOH. In a statement issued today, Dato' Abdul Ghani said MFL's preparations and plans involve the CIMB Liga Super, Liga Premier, Shopee Piala FA, Challenge Cup, TM Piala Malaysia, as well as Liga M3 managed by the Amateur Football League, or AFL. He added all decisions are still subject to the government's directives regarding the end of the MCO, and once it has been announced, MFL will share the format that will be used in more detail. In relation to the Health Ministry's latest statement urging the public not to take part in mass public gatherings for a period of 6 months to a year, Dato' Abdul Ghani said that MFL will await detailed guidelines from the ministry. In other developments, Dato' Abdul Ghani also urged the officials and players of all Liga Malaysia teams to openly accept the suspension of the league. Specifically, he urged all teams to have discussion with their players and officials regarding the status of their contracts during this COVID-19 pandemic that clearly impacted the finances of every team. With that, Dato' Abdul Ghani also informed that the main sponsors, which are Telekom Malaysia TM, CIMB and Shopee, have expressed their commitment to continue and give their full support to MFL through these difficult times of the COVID-19 pandemic. Thailand and Malaysia have been banned from sending weightlifters to the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo because of multiple doping offences. Now, the Independent Member Federation Sanctions Panel, or IMFSP, said the ban on Thai and Malaysian weightlifters from Tokyo 2020 would stand regardless of the change in schedule for that tournament, which has been postponed until 2021 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Thai Amateur Weightlifting Association, or TAWA, and the Malaysian Weightlifting Federation, MFW, have also been suspended as members of the International Weightlifting Federation, IWF, for 3 years and 1 year, respectively. The panel said the sanction on the TAWA will be in place until at least 7th of March 2022 and could be lifted on or after that date if the troubled federation meets a set of predetermined criteria. Malaysia has been punished after 3 weightlifters were caught doping in a calendar year. The suspension of the MWF could be lifted as early as 4th of October if the organisation can demonstrate it has adhered to criteria designed to prevent further doping issues in the future. TAWA and MFW have 21 days from 1st of April to appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS. The national professional mixed doubles pair Chan Ping Soon and Goh Liu Ying received a major boost in their chase for glory at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics next year when China-based sporting brand Li Ning agreed to extend their sponsorship for another year. They decided to renew the contract after the 2016 Rio Olympics silver medalists produced positive results in a few international tournaments, including winning 2 titles last year after linking up with the company in February 2019. The sole distributor for Li Ning products in Southeast Asia, Sunlight Sports Group, said the pair have shown great professionalism since signing with the group. Ping Soon and Liu Ying expressed their appreciation for the support from Li Ning despite international tournaments being suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The world number 7 pair left the national setup in December 2018 to turn professional. 2 titles they won last year were the Thailand Masters in January and New Zealand Open in May. And that concludes this evening's News on 2. In our top story, agricultural fisheries sector to operate normally during MCO. Now, don't forget to wash your hands regularly and practice social distancing. And most of all, let's adhere to the movement control order and just stay at home. Now, join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Jessica Lee. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.